Okay, my name is Naomi Yeager, and I completed a manuscript, and now I found a publisher, and it's Beaver's Pond Press, and I hope my book will be out in fall of 2025. So I wanted to give a shout out to Alex, because I recently learned about vinegar Valentine's, and sounds like you're kind of an expert at it.
Pretty good.
Now, what I'm going to read you tonight is just a section from my manuscript, and the name is Russell Runs for School Board. So what you need to know is the last name of this family is Meinhardt, the dad's name is Russell, and the mother's name is Winifred. And Gordon is the oldest kid, and my mother would have been the fourth kid. Her name is Jeanette. And the whole book is set in the 1930s and 1940s. In September of 1940, Gordon climbed onto the school bus and went to Slayton High School with anticipation and fear. Gordon had just spent 8 years in grade school in Avoca. Having their children and all the Avoca children be able to attend high school was a goal for Russell and Winifred. Russell and Winifred had felt so strongly about their children getting access to high school education that while Gordon was still in 5th grade back in 1936, Russell had run for school board. He had campaigned on a promise to bus Avoca students to high school. Russell had walked and knocked on every door in town. The Avoca school included 10 grades. If they wanted to graduate from high school, they needed to find their way to Slayton, 6 miles to the north, or Fulda, 7 miles to the south. Though Avoca had been started by Irish Catholics, by the 1930s, the town was 2/3 Protestant. Since there were 3 members on the local school board, there was an unwritten rule that the board would consist of 1 Catholic and 2 Protestants. Board members served a 3-year term, which meant that when the Catholic seat came up for a vote, no Protestant was to register for that seat, and no one ever did. That system worked very well to keep a sense of balance and harmony. Russell wore a suit and a fedora hat while walking the neighborhoods to campaign for school board. When Russell knocked on a door, he was greeted by a resident who usually knew him by name. Russell usually knew who lived in each house. Most people invited him into their entryway or their parlors, living rooms, or kitchens for a cup of coffee. Though Russell usually drank tea, he would accept their offer and sit down and talk about Avoca School. He took his fedora hat off and gently held it in his hands, whether standing in the foyer or invited into the house. I'm running for school board, and I believe every child living in Avoca deserves a chance to attend high school. I believe that our community should provide a school bus to and from high school. Many residents were receptive to what Russell had to say. Though I only graduated from 8th grade, he continued, my wife graduated high school and went on to college. In this day and age, an 8th grade diploma isn't enough for a young man to be competitive, and a young woman needs even more education to compete. I was able to find a nice job with an 8th grade diploma, but today's youth will need more, and I think the people of Avoca can provide that education for every student. Boys need to have at least a high school diploma, and I believe every student, male or female, deserves that chance. They can't do it if they don't have transportation to the school. Russell won the vote for the school board and became the board chairman. When he served as chair, the board decided to drop the 9th and 10th grades at Avoca and hire someone with a bus to take the Avoca students to another school for grades 9 through 12. The town was evenly split between Slayton and Fulda because Slayton's high school was larger and Slayton was the county seat. Russell decided on Slayton and he was the deciding vote. This upset those preferring Fulda. Gordon heard them say some harsh things about Russell, but the Meinhardt children never heard their father or mother say a single negative word about the pro-Fulda people. It was a big deal for Gordon to be the first of the Meinhardt children to attend Slayton High School. Jeanette was in the 5th grade and 2nd grader George. They were so excited that they took a wagon to meet him after the bus dropped him off and used the wagon to carry his books home. Gordon was less excited. If anybody's curious where these towns are located, I brought some maps.